Welcome back. This is Mrs. RRubright with Advanced Geometry. Today's lesson is 11.1, Circumference and Arc Length. Find the indicated measures. Find the circumference of a circle with a radius of 9 centimeters. So the formula for circumference is circumference equals pi times the diameter, or circumference equals 2 pi r, because 2 times the radius is the diameter. So you have two choices. You have this one or this one. Being that they gave us the radius times 2 is your diameter. 9 times 2 is 18, so 18 times pi, or 18 pi, would be your circumference. If they wanted you to leave it in terms of pi, it'd be 18 pi. If they wanted you to solve it, you use the pi button on your calculator. So you do 18 times pi button equals 56.548, which would round to 56.55. Do not use 3.14 for pi unless it tells you to do so. Always use the pi button unless they specify otherwise, so that it's the most accurate answer that you can get. The radius of a circle with a circumference of 26. Circumference equals 2 pi r. What is the radius if the circumference is 26? Plug and chug. All right, so if we plug this in, we're going to divide by 2, which is going to give us 13 equals pi r. We want r by itself, so we're going to divide by pi. So our radius is 13 divided by pi, which in our calculator, 13 divided by pi button equals 4.14. Our radius is 4.14. And the units were meters. All right, so the dimensions of a car tire are shown at the right. To the nearest foot, how far does the tire travel when it makes 15 revolutions? So what is a revolution? A revolution is if the tire starts here and then it goes all the way around the entire circumference and ends up right back here, that'd be 1 revolution. If it does it again, now you're at 2 revolutions, 3 revolutions, 4 revolutions, 5 revolutions, 6 revolutions, and so on. Okay, so that's what a revolution is. You're going to do that 15 times. So how far does a car travel with 15 revolutions? So we want to know 15 times the circumference of the large outer rim, right? That's the distance we want. We want this circumference times 15. So what is this circumference? Well, we need to know, what is its radius? All right, well, if this inner circle is 15 for the diameter, what is the radius of this inner circle? Anybody? Half of 15 is 7.5. So we can do 7.5 plus 5.5, which is going to be 13, right? So this radius is 13. So we can do it that way, or because the circumference formula is also pi times the diameter, you could just do the diameter right off the bat. So the diameter of the whole one. So 5.5 plus 5.5 is 11. 11 plus 15, 26. 13 times 2 is 26. So either way. So pi d, 26 pi, is your circumference, right? Or 13 times 2, which is 26 times pi. So 26 pi is my circumference, times 15 revolutions. 26 times 15, 390. So your answer is 390 pi if they wanted the exact answer, if they wanted it rounded. You get 1,225.22, and this is in inches. They got the circumference. They're going to have the answer on the next page. Right there. Make sense? All right, so what if they didn't want it in inches and they wanted it in feet? So did they tell you they wanted it in feet? To the nearest foot. To the nearest foot. So, if they wanted us to get out of inches and into feet, we need to use this thing called dimensional analysis, which you guys learned in chemistry if you've taken chemistry already. So, if we're getting out of inches, inches need to be diagonal to get out of something. And we're going into feet. What do you know about inches and feet? 1 foot is 12 inches. The inches are diagonal, so they cancel out. We will be left in feet. So all we do is we multiply our numerators, we multiply our denominators, and then we divide. So basically it's really just this divided by 12. So if you take your 1,225.2 divided by 12, you're going to get 102.1. So 102.1 feet. And that is in feet. Okay, so always be careful. Read what units they want the answers in. Look at your answer choices. Make sure on a multiple choice test that you are paying attention to whether or not the units changed, if you need to do a conversion. Find the circumference of a circle with a diameter of 5 inches. Find the diameter of the circle with a circumference of 17 feet. So first they want you to find the circumference of a circle with a diameter of 5. I want you guys to try that one. And I also want you to try the second question. So the first part I want you guys to do, and then I want you guys to do the second part, which is find the diameter with a circumference of 17 feet. So do these two problems with your table partner. I'm going to pause the video and give you guys a chance to try these on your own. All right, guys, so now that you've had the opportunity to try this one, what did you guys get for the circumference of a circle with a diameter of 5? What'd you guys get? 5 pi, which you're saying is 15.7? Let's look. So 5 times pi equals 15.7. Perfect. And that's in inches. And then our next problem wants to find the diameter of a circle with a circumference. So circumference equals pi d. The circumference is 17 feet. 17 equals pi times the diameter. So divide by pi on both sides. 17 divided by pi is your diameter. 17 divided by pi equals 5.4 feet. A car tire has a diameter of 28 inches. How many revolutions does a tire make while traveling 500 feet? All right, so it has a diameter of 28 inches. So your circumference is pi d, or 28 pi. So 28 pi times how many revolutions equals, and I'll make a capital R or something for revolutions, times how many revolutions equals 500 feet. Uh-oh. Isn't this in inches and this in feet? Can I have two different measurements? So I need to switch that 28 inches. 28 inches, we need to get out of inches and into feet. 1 foot is how many inches? So 28 divided by 12 is 2.3 repeating. All right, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay, so if I'm doing this problem, I need to get rid of 28 over 12, which is really like 14 over 6. Anyway, so times 12 over 28. To get rid of a fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal, right? Because then it would be 1 pi r, so it's gone. Now I'm going to divide by pi. And that should give me the number of revolutions, because now I have revolutions by itself. So, in my calculator, 12 divided by 28 equals 0.4285 times 500 equals, divided by pi equals. And I got that the revolutions is 68.21 revolutions. 68.21 revolutions. Make sense? Find the arc length of each red arc. So this isn't asking for the degrees. It's not saying 60 degrees. They want to know the length. So the portion of the circumference. So I like to do proportions for everything. I think that they're just super easy and convenient. So if you just do a proportion, 60 degrees out of 360 degrees equals what part of the circumference out of the whole circumference? 2 pi r. 8 times 2 is 16, so 16 pi. Cross products and solve. The other way you could do this is you could do 16 pi times 60 over 360. That works too. You can also reduce this to start off if you wanted to, but if you're using your calculator, there's really no need. It just gives you an extra level of something to screw up. 60 times 16 times pi equals, divided by 360 equals, and I got 8.38. Because the 60 times this, you multiply these, equals 360x, then divide by 360. 8.38. And this is the level of work that is required. You can show more work than this, but this is the minimum. The other way you could have set this up is just simply 60 over 360 times 16 pi. Okay? Which is really just 1/6 times 16 pi, or 16 pi over 6, which is really 8 pi over 3. That should be the same answer, and that would be the exact answer. 8 times pi equals, divide by 3 equals, and you get the same 8.38. If your answer choices on the EOC are written like this, and you get a decimal answer, turn the answer choices into decimals and pick the same one. The equivalent equation, or sorry, equivalent expression. So equations have an equal sign, expressions do not. Make sure you remember that on the EOC. Equations have an equal sign, expressions do not. All right, so moving on. Find the length of each red arc. Pause the video and try this one on your own. So on this one, we have 60 degrees out of 360 degrees equals what portion of the circumference out of the total circumference, the whole circumference of 2 pi r, or pi d, 22 pi. We can reduce this to make life easier. 1 and 6. Cross multiply, set your cross products equal, and solve. So we have 6x equals 22 pi, divide by 6. So this is essentially 11 pi over 3, which as a decimal, 11 times pi equals, divide by 3 equals 11.52 centimeters. Make sense? Or you could do 1/6 times 22 pi, because part of the portion, 1/6 of the whole circumference. Of means multiply. So either cross products or of means multiply. You're finding this portion of the circumference. Whichever method is easier for you and makes it where you won't mess it up. I like proportions because you don't mess them up, because it's like, okay, well, 60 degrees out of a part over whole equals part over whole. 60 degrees out of a whole 360 equals what part of the circumference out of the whole circumference. All right, so on this one, it's the same thing again. So we have 120 degrees out of 360 degrees. Do you guys want to do the multiplying way instead of the proportion? It's up to you. So this would be 1/3. So you're looking for 1/3 of the circumference, 22 pi. So 22 pi divided by 3, which is going to give you 22 times pi equals, divide by 3 equals 23.04. 23.04. So this looks like a good place to stop, and we'll continue part 2 on our next video because we're running out of time. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson so far. Please stay tuned for part 2. Subscribe and like our video. Thanks so much, and watch our second half. Take care.